Hello. Hello. Am I ready or not? I think I am. I think I can be.
All right.
Someone said, "All right." It was a video. It was up. Okay, I closed like 1 million windows that I had open. Okay. Let me switch the scene. Hello. Here I am. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another stream of Plane Shift. The best free MMO ever existed, no? Yeah, I think so. I think so. So today I'm gonna work again on voice chat, and the good news is that I have a working version, right? And a working version of positional chat, which is pretty good. I have a working version. Now, the only change that I did actually was to basically was to move the registration of the player, of the talker, of the VoIP talker, from the player controller to the actual pawn. So that made a difference, and I think that the reason is that it was trying to register something in the player controller where in reality the player controller exists only on the client, on the same client, right? So if you are a player 1, your player controller is existing only on your client and obviously on the server, but not on the other client. So the way it was designed is that if you are trying to set up the VoIP talker in the player controller, that initialization basically is not going to work, right? Because it doesn't exist. So it is happening only server side. So I think there was what was happening. And so what I did, I just moved it from player controller to third person character, right? I moved it's the same code. I just moved it here. And now to me, it is working. If you want, I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you by going in the other PC, launching the new version with this change. I will launch it also here. Wait. No. I will launch it also here. Right. With this one I will play, and with the other one I will find the game. And I will join. Oh wow. I added a sound. Wait. I don't know why I cannot hear the sound here, actually. That's kind of interesting. But anyway, if I mute myself... Wait a second. If I mute myself here... It seems that something happened on... It seems that something happened on this side because I cannot hear anything. I cannot hear anything. Okay. Let me close this 1 second and start it again because I don't know, maybe too many open devices, you know. Too many open devices, maybe. So that one is under what? Is under I think it's here. Is it starting or? Yeah, because I don't know, seems it's not starting. I also added a sound directly on the character because I wanted to test. Okay, now I hear the noise. Now I hear the noise, okay. Yeah, I added this flame sound just because I wanted to test the attenuation, right? And as you can hear, if I go far away, right, the volume goes down, right? That was just to test the attenuation. Now I can remove it because I think it's a bit confusing, but apart from that, and also I put it on the character as well. So actually the character is emitting that kind of sound continuously, which may be a bit annoying, but yeah, I will remove it soon. The problem is that if I remove it now, I think I need to I recompile everything. But keeping it where it is. Hello, Hula. Keeping it where it is. If I play here, I don't know why I cannot play in another. Okay, let's do this. Oh, finally. So at least we have a decent view. So here I hear the sound, right? Yes, here I hear the sound. And if I go away, I don't hear it. Okay. But now if I connect with another player, I will also hear his noise, but... So now I'm connecting from the other PC. I will find the game. Right? And connect. Now, let me move away from... Okay. Let me move away from there. So if I go close to this guy... I don't know why I don't hear the noise now. Which is very strange. What? Hello? 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 Yes, now you hear the voice, right? Let me mute myself, otherwise it's a mess. Hello? Hello, I'm this guy. I'm the guy moving. So now I will go away. We'll go far away. A bit far away. Then you hear me less and less. And if I go here you don't hear me anymore. If I go here, you hear me again, right? You hear me again. You hear me more, more. Until I'm here and you hear me full, right? So the attenuation seems to be working fine. Right? I forgot the guest. Ah, yes, thank you. This. And the avatars, This. No? What is going on? Ah, yes, now yes. Yeah, so the sound is actually attenuated properly, right? So the attenuation works, which is very good. The only change I did really was to move the logic from the character, so from the play controller to the character. So that was the change, right? Because I think that when we are in this particular initialization, the one that is trying to initialize on begin play, right? He was on the controller, and that is not doing the right job. Now, the problem we have, I don't think if it's a problem or not, but let me create a new paint. Because there is more I want to understand, right? There is more I want to understand. The first thing... The first thing I want to understand is this. At the moment, if I am client one, right? If I am client one, and I'm sending my data to the server. Say that the server is here, right? Which is actually the game server, unfortunately, but it would be better to have, you know, a voice-only server, but it is okay. So here we have the game server, right? If I have to go client 1, client 2, client 3, right? Right? So I have to go client 2, client 3, client 4, whatever. And assuming that my map so client 1 is fuck, I could have done it by color actually. I said a client 1, yeah, I could have done it by color, would have been better. Yeah, let's do it by color. Let's do it by color. No, client 2, wait, client 2 I think we can stay the same color or not. No, let's do it. Let's do a different color. Let's do a different color. So if I go client if I go client 2 and then I go client 3 and then I go client another color, client N, right, whatever it is, right, and we say that this is client 1. And maybe wait, let me put this guy a bit in the middle or what. No, I think it's okay even here. I think it's fine. So then we will have client 2 here next to him, right? So this will be client 2, and then we will have client 3 maybe here, and then we will have client N, so all the other clients basically, all the other clients scattered whatever, right? What is the current problem that we have? The problem we have is that we have a radius for the voice, right? And let's say that the radius for the voice is this, and is obviously centered on our speaker. So the client 1 is the speaker, okay? And so what happens at the moment is that client 1 is actually sending the data to the game server, and then the data gets sent to everyone. So it's sent actually to client 2, is sent to client 3 and client N, and then on the client, right? On the client, there is an attenuation based on distance. So I'm really sending the data to everyone, and then I'm just attenuating it after the fact, right? After having it sent. And this is causing a number of problems in my point of view. Right, so the attenuation based on distance happens. The attenuation based on distance basically happens only on the client. And so this client will say, I don't know, volume 9, let's say that the volume is between 1 and 10, right? This client will say volume 0, and this one will say volume 0 as well, right? So this is basically how the system works at the moment, right? By the way, sorry, I didn't read much of the chat. Hello Hula, hello Fergus, hello SY, hello SY, welcome. Glad to see you streaming. Yes, I'm streaming pretty much every day and making good progress. Well, yeah, making some progress, but we are working on the voice chat, and we are working on the voice chat and trying to understand if the base system that is already inside Unreal is good enough for us or not, right? So that is something that I'm trying to understand. And basically what happens, meanwhile I'm doing this, let me just remove the annoying sound that I put on the character so that we can yeah, because I just did it to test, you know, this Fire 01, we're just there to test the attenuation, and so basically all of this is not needed anymore, right? Yeah, because I was just testing some stuff, so that's completely useless. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to I have two open. That's not a good idea. I had two of them open at the same time. That's not a great idea. Let me repackage. It's not that I really need to repackage, but because on the other machine I don't have Unreal Engine installed, and so I cannot really run the project, so I need to run a you were watching my stream like 2 years ago? Nice. So the game now is available to everyone. So if you want to test it, in these 2 years we managed to release the game fully. So if you go I don't know, on this URL or anyway on our website, you can download the game. You can register, download the game for Linux, Windows, and Mac, and you can play it. It's available without any, you know, filter or anything, because before we had some additional filtering, like only veteran players and such, or certain amount of hours, or Patreons. Now we removed that, so anyone can play it. So if you want to try it and let me know what you think, that would be nice. So let me copy this and put it on the other machine. Right? And for free, yes. Yeah, if you want to check it, it's okay. It's I think it's playable, you know, I think it's playable. Now I still need a lot of polish, you know, like improvements and fixes, but we are getting there. One piece at a time. Now I'm working a bit on voice chat, just because, I don't know, just because I wanted to try. I wanted to try and understand what it means. Okay, so basically, the attenuation is done based on the distance, but it's done on the client. So this is actually sent to all the clients. So imagine that you are in this situation, and then you have 200 other players on the server, right? The 200 other players on the server will get the stream, right? The stream of data. And I think this is very wasteful, right? It's very wasteful. So I was trying to see if there is a way to intercept here the distance, right? So that we can send only if the person is within a certain distance, or at least initiate it, right? It would be already okay if we initiate within a certain distance. So to do that, unfortunately, there is basically no documentation and no knowledge around on this. There are some pre-made packages, and we may actually buy one of those packages just to understand how it works. So I will probably buy one of the packages and try to understand how they do it, and then maybe we do it our own way, but at least we will understand the basics. Well, not the basic, at this point we are a bit more in the advanced on the medium one, but so so yes, what I want to do, I want to simulate it again. I want to simulate it again. I don't know why it's never starting in a new window. Okay, now it is. Simulate again. Now we still have our sound around here, which is the fire sound. That is using the same attenuation thingy, right? And by the way, now that I think about it, let's make maybe a better. Let's do something. Let's create a new actor that is fire sound, right? And this fire sound will have can I have a sphere? But I want a sphere that is not colliding with anything, right? And I want a sphere that is a material that is basically half transparent or something. I don't know if we have, but yeah, this seems to be like transparent somehow. And maybe in the middle we put a box or a, yeah, maybe a box, cube. Maybe in the middle we put a cube and we make it pretty small. And so that we at least know where is the sound coming from, just as an example, right? Sorry, I didn't put it in the level. I didn't put it there. So I will remove this sound. And I will put our fires. By the way, I also need to add the fire sound. No, I think it should be called, I think it's called the audio component. Audio component, right? Yes. And then we add our fire looping, no, our test looping. Okay. And we add our attenuation, voice attenuation. Okay. So I'm just rebuilding the same thing that I did, but with an actor, so that we can actually see something. Let me see if we can see. We cannot see the sphere though. Yeah, we can see the sphere like that. So you hear the noise. Right? But apart from this, that is not really what I wanted to do. So if I connect with the other guy, I go like here, right? I go like here. Then I go to the other machine. I find the game. No session found. Why no session found? Oh wow. Because I changed it and so it's not. Holy moly. Huh. So when you do a change, you have to immediately. Really? Let me try from here. I know, because I didn't launch the right map. Okay, fine. I was a bit surprised, but okay, if I do find games. Okay. Okay, so now we are in. Now, if I mute myself, right, I have to mute because otherwise it's not meaningful. So I will be muted. Hello. So now you hear me, and now you hear me less. Back. Now I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Sorry, I forgot I was muted. So I remember my old name was something like Pancake, I believe. I don't know myself, I forgot. You mean the game account or the YouTube account? Yeah, I mute myself. Yeah, I mean. So I think that everything starts, you know, within player controller with toggle speaking, right? So basically execute toggle speak console command, right? And this calls this, right? And this calls this. Yes, I have to do it this way because otherwise... Exactly. Now... Ah, fuck, it's not possible. Okay. I have to do it in source editing. Okay, it is okay. So, and this calls player controller toggle speaking. Now... After toggle speaking, I have no idea of what happened. So this is why I enabled all these logs, and we may try to see if we see something. If we see something here in the log that is actually helping us. Stop local voice processing. Stopping voice for user. Register remote talker. Ah, okay. Here is the... by the way. Before everything, there is the registering of the remote talker. Register remote talker, start remote voice processing. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I'm muting remote talker, third person client 1, third person character. Decoder version, libus, lib opus, unknown. Packet generation skipped. Very verbose. Opus decode raw sides. Trigger remote talking. Okay. So I want to understand where is this, right? I want to understand where is this. Because the toggle, so the toggle speaking is actually calling this start networked voice. This LP is a local player. Okay, so it's identifying who is the local player. And then it's calling get controller ID. So it's passing in the unique identifier of the player controller, right? And it's doing it through the start networked voice. Now, start networked voice, unfortunately, is a virtual function inside the online engine interface. Yes. So I think that this one is where is inside net online engine interface. So to get the real class, we need to go where? Into the online subsystem, into the default online subsystem. Because there must be... Hey, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? I think you play again today. No, no worries. I mean, anytime. Anytime. Ah, yes. You see that, for example, there is one for Oculus, right? Star Network at Void. There is one for Oculus. Now, I don't know the one that we are using, though. For sure not the one for Oculus. This under plugin online subsystem. So there should be plugins online. There should be a default subsystem, right? I think the default subsystem is, you see that we have Twitch, Tencent, Steam, Oculus, Google, Facebook, iOS, Apple, Amazon. So I think that the default is this online subsystem. It is probably a default one. So we should have an online voice. We should have a private online, source private online, source private online subsystem, online voice. But I don't see an online voice here. So we don't know exactly which one is calling. There is not a Windows one, so... Maybe it's the null one? No, the null one, I don't think so. I think we need to search it, but it's there, for sure it's there. Online subsystem utils. Probably we go through this. Start networked voice, get networked interface, voice int, start networked voice. Start networked voice. Online voice, online subsystem utils. Yes, I think we are going through this. Starting networked voice for user. Do we get this log? Starting networked voice. Yes, we get that. Okay, so I think we are in the right, probably we are in the right place. So online voice implementation. Validate the range of the entry. Max local talkers. That is interesting. So it seems that we are going through this, huh? I'm not 100% sure, but let's say 99. So inside this file, we use this function, right? Start networked voice. And start networked voice is doing a check on local max talker, which is an interesting variable. Let's see what is the maximum. It's not set. It's not set, it's impossible. It's set somewhere for sure. Maybe it's coming from a configuration or something. Max split screen talkers. Max remote talker 16. There is a 16, huh? 16. Which is a bit weird, but there is a 16 max remote talker. Now we can change it. It's not a problem, but it seems that it can be defined. Yes, it can be defined in online subsystem in default engine. So yeah, the problem is that how do we know these properties, boys? That is where the documentation, you know, is important, if we can find some, because max remote. I need there is very, very, very little documentation, as you can see. There is not a list of all this variables. So it's just saying that, I mean, in the code we see it, right? And we see that it's asking about max local talker, but then so there seems to be a max local talker definition, right? And there seems to be also a voice notification delta. Voice notification delta. Time to wait for new data before triggering not talking. Interesting. So there seems to be, let me put this into this file as well. So let's Unreal default voice properties, right? Or configs or whatever. So we have max remote talker and we have voice notification delta, where this is maximum permitted local talkers. Maximum permitted local talkers. Ah no, sorry, there are two. Maximum permitted local and maximum permitted remote. Ah yes, actually there are two. Yeah, so this is exactly what, you know, a decent documentation should tell us, but it seems that searching the internet, you know, there is no such thing. So voice notification delta is default 0.2 and is defined as the time waiting for new data, right? So it is default 1 and it is default 16. And it is default 0.2 seconds, I assume. Okay, so these are all good variables that we may use. Now, going back to where we were. Yes, which was here, right? Start networked voice. Start networked voice, exactly. So the first thing that it's doing is checking if it's local or not. I don't know why it's checking anyway the local, even if we are networked. That's kind of strange, huh? And then he's doing this. He's doing start local voice process. Why local? Starting networked voice for user. Starting networked voice for user. Yes, this one we have it. We are starting networked voice for user 0. Invalid user specified. Okay. So I assume we go through this. I'm a bit confused about this local instead of... Let me search max remote talker. Max remote talkers. Actually is here. I mean, is in the init. Is in the init. Is only in the init. That's a bit strange. Is only in the initialization. That's a bit strange. I don't know if there is a mix between local and remote, but at the moment I'm not understanding exactly why it's working this way. But anyway, after this start networked voice, what happens is that we do start local voice processing. Okay, and I think that here we are still on the client, I assume. I assume here we are still on the client. So is capturing. So let me put this in the list. So after this, we go this. Start local voice processing. Now, if he's owning user, so I have to be basically here. Yes, here we are local. If he's not already capturing. Voice capture update and then start recording, right? So it is the start. Voice capture update. Let me see what it's doing here. If no data is available, we have finished capture, last stop recording. Okay, so it's a kind of a check for the start. And then we have this one, start recording. In very verbose, we have a VoIP start recording. I've set everything to... I've set everything to very verbose. So in theory, it should be here, but it's not here. So probably we are not going through this. Probably we are not going through this. Online voice engine. Log voice engine. Do I have this one in my logs? Do I have this one in my logs? No, we don't have it. So that's another one that we should add with very verbose. Log voice engine. Why I didn't catch this one? Maybe it's new, huh? Because strange. Because in theory, I have all the logs. I have all the logs. This one, yeah, is missing. So they added it after 424 because this extraction was 424. I will have to redo that extraction probably. That would be a good idea. So we have log voice engine and log online voice. I think log online voice, I have it. No, also I don't have this. Log online voice. Glove online voice, very verbose. Yeah, this is probably something new. It is probably something new they did in the new releases. Okay, we can do it again and see if we get this debug, right? Because I want to be sure that we are in the right part of the code. Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay. So in theory we should already have enough logging. Just with that we should have already enough logging. So let me see if now we have... so this we said yes. I think that this we had already before, right? Yes. This we had already before. The one that we were missing was inside start recording, which was this one, VoIP start recording. Ah, we're still missing it. Why we don't get it now that I have enabled everything? Did I save it for this project? Yes, it is for this project. Okay. Well, we can also debug it. If we want, we can launch the client. You know, we can launch the client in debug mode, and we can see exactly where it's going. Because it seems it's not going through this, or we are not hitting this line. But it seems to be strange. Seems to be strange that we are not hitting it. No. Start remote voice processing. Start start remote voice processing. Register remote talker. Yeah, this one is in the register phase. We are actually inside the same class. We are inside the same class, but we are inside this F online voice implementation, right? We are inside of this. And before that, there is a register remote talker. Before the start networking. Start remote voice processing. Start local voice. No, I think we are going through another part of the code. Start remote voice processing. Not needed online success. Yeah, but this is the interface. No? It'd be interesting to know. It'll be interesting to know. I think the easiest, you know what is it? That we just debug it. We just debug it and we stop it. We stop it when it's doing decoder option. Or opus decode. Why is opus decode already? Shouldn't be encode first? Remote talking, compressed sides, raw sides, packet generation skipped, decoder version, unmuting remote player, start remote voice processing. Yeah, but I think if we stop it here. Okay, let's try to do that. Let's try to run the editor. Here I'm in the editor, right? No, here we are in PS Unreal. Here I am in PS Unreal. No, I don't need PS Unreal. I need the editor. But if I make the editor the startup project, I think it will work, no? The only problem is that I didn't compile it in debug. I compiled it in development. That's the problem. But let me try anyway. So if I get online subsystem utils, right? Where the one where we were touching now, and there was, wait, I listed it. I listed it here. Plugin online subsystem util source online subsystem util private. Yes, and then voice interface implementation. Voice interface implementation. Okay, so we were here, and inside of this we want to catch start networked voice. But it doesn't seem to be this one though. It doesn't seem to be this one. It seems to be this one. Register remote talker. Now start to process the remote voices. Start remote processing. But because in theory the registering, you know, is done only one time. And this is what is confusing me a bit. Let's see if we can launch it this way and debug that point, okay? So we also discover what is the online subsystem and everything. I think the only way is to debug it and see where it's going. Maybe there is somewhere on the internet, you know, this exactly what I'm doing, but maybe there is, but I'm not sure. I would like, you know, to know what is the engine doing in all these steps. This is basically what I'm trying to understand. Let me see if I press my hello. Now you see that if there is no one else connected, probably is not even starting, right? I think if there is no other player connected, the remote doesn't even start. Okay, now there is this guy connected. Hello? Hello? Why the debug didn't trigger? Maybe because it's happening... no, but it should trigger anyway. That is very strange. Ah, it's not running here. Ah, because when I launched the project, it restarted it. Ah, fuckerinos. No, we need to launch, then we need to launch the editor already with the project, I think. We need to launch the editor already with the project if you want to debug it that way. So I think we will have to call it with this guy. I think we will have to call it with this guy. Yes. Let me try. So if I launch it with this, let me see. Yes, it seems that now is starting it with the, and now it's running, eh? Yes. Yes, because before he basically stopped and restarted, right? Hello? But still, he didn't break point here. Let me enter again with the other guy. Let me enter again with the other guy. But now we are running, so now we are debugging. Okay, now we hit the breakpoint. Perfect. Okay, let me see which kind of online subsystem we have, right? Online handler. So as soon as I connected from the other machine, online subsystem null. Online subsystem null. So that one is probably a kind of a placeholder, but still. Remote talker, find remote talker. This talker has not been registered, so it's registering this talker. So it is adding. Register the remote talker locally. Because here I am on this machine, on my machine, and I'm registering the other guy. Right? I'm registering the other guy. Update muting all of the local talker with this remote talker. Start remote voice processing. And it is actually doing nothing though. It is actually doing nothing. F online session null, register voice. So it's coming from here, it's coming from register player, new player, register player. So it's coming from register player with session. So the fact that the person joined the specific session and register the player as part of the session. Now, I don't know if this is working this way because we are using sessions, right? But it's basically coming through. Yeah, let me document this because I think it's interesting. It's interesting. So basically, as soon as the second player joins the session, this happens, right? This happens. So we have register with session, and then we have a register player. And inside the register player, there is a register voice. And it is where our remote player gets registered for our client as a remote speaker. Now, I think it would be interesting to know if at the moment this debug is for the listen server or is for the second client. That I have no idea. But we saw that the register remote talker is doing fairly little. It's just checking if the remote talker is already existing, and if not, is adding it to our talker list. And this is basically returning true. And then it's printing out this stuff, right? And then it's printing out this stuff. Yes. Yes, now obviously both of my client timed out, I assume, but I will try to resume, but I think that probably everything timed out, or no? Yeah, the second client obviously timed out. So the other guy, this one not, but the other guy, yes, the other guy timed out, so we need to reconnect him. So basically we are in the null subsystem. Okay, this time we will let it go so they properly connect. And this guy is now in front of me, right? Is in the range of the talk for sure. Now, I want to understand if I talk, hello? If I talk, actually where, well, I mean, which part of the code we are hitting, right? This is what I want to understand. We thought that we would hit F online voice register remote talker. And start networked voice, but I'm not completely sure that this is true. But let's try to put a breakpoint and to speak. Hey, yes. Actually, we go through this. Okay, actually we go through this. So we actually go through this. Okay, let me see the full stack though. Hello? Let me see the full stack. Hello. Okay, the full stack is starting from process event. It seems to come from the blueprints because there is a toggle speaking. Yes, exactly. Exactly. This is the toggle speaking. Start networked voice. Yeah, so this one actually is happening there and not here. Even if online voice implementation, register remote talker. Online. Wait a second. I want to see if we are going through this. I want to see if we are going through this. Register remote talker. We didn't stop here. But we are stopping here. So what we see an online voice engine interface implementation, start networked voice, which is a bit different than that. And then there is a start networked voice. Is here. Is this one, huh? This one is the same, huh? Yeah, this one is the same. Okay, okay. So basically this is happening before this. And it's just after the toggle speaking. We don't see this register remote talker for whatever. So this happens at the beginning. It doesn't happen when you start to speak, but it makes sense. So the register remote talker, I think, is up here. I want to see if we hit it though, but so I don't know if we are hitting this. Then we go start networked voice. Start networked voice inside online voice implementation, right? Which is here. Then it is still doing the check on the max local talkers. I don't know exactly why, but fine. As networked voice equal to true. If voice engine is valid, start local voice processing. Okay, so this is the one that is actually reading our voice. Exactly, which is this guy here. Start local voice processing. So here I assume that we are still on the client. He's checking if he's capturing, he's doing that, and then he's doing start recording. So I was in the right place. And here we have a voice capture start. Here is the one that I was missing. And it is going inside voice capture windows. So after this, we go by platform. Come on. No, it's not possible. Huh? Okay, I will do it later. I will do it. No, I can do it now if I switch the editor. Okay, so after this, we go Windows. Capture Windows, right? Capture Windows. Okay, inside capture windows, what do we do? Voice buffer, voice capture buffer start. So here we are 100% on the client. 100%. Voice capture buffer. And there is this start. They will be interesting to know. I just skipped it. Strange. Because he's going inside Windows sounds. He's inside a DLL somewhere, so probably that we cannot really control, right? That we cannot really, but it's okay. It's okay. So it is calling, you know, the Windows capture. And the microphone Windows capture, and it's fine. I think we don't need it. We don't need that. Now I think that the question is, Are we going through process data? I assume 100% yes. This process data should be continuous, right? So it should be a continuous thing that is called, yeah, exactly. It's called inside a tick, right? So inside the tick of this voice capture window. So inside the tick function of voice capture window, or I can just say inside, wait, I think it's easier this way. Inside the voice capture window stick, we call process data. And process data is the one that is reading our voice, right? Is reading our voice, is capturing into a buffer, and I don't know exactly what the hell it's doing, but it will just transform our buffer into bytes and put it into a buffer, and is uncompressed for now. Yes. Uncompressed audio buffer, capture length, initial, I don't know. This is very, very complex stuff, you know, so I don't want to understand it. I'm just trying to follow. First, if we have any cache audio from the offset mid buffer, so it's copying, you know, I mean, it is doing a lot of stuff that we don't care. Mic level detector, interesting. Look ahead buffer process sample, I don't know, it's doing some very, very complex stuff, so congratulations to whoever wrote this piece of code. Is checking the microphone threshold, which, by the way, all this, yeah, exactly, all these ones are parameters that we need to understand. All this voice silence, voice mic threshold, voice mix noise attack, voice mix noise release, voice mic input gain, voice MIDI. So I hope that this one are documented somehow, really. I really hope that someone in Unreal, you know, I can find these properties with a description. I really hope so. No way. Huh. Microphone setup. Yeah, all these ones, you see. Set up microphone parameters. This one is very interesting, huh? This one is very interesting. I need to copy paste it into my, assuming that it is correct, but I think so. We need to copy it into our project, huh? As soon as we are done with this. But anyway, is checking a million parameters and is capturing the audio, right? Process buffer, process sample. Now, I don't know if this process sample is already sending it server side. Push sample, pop sample. Then I have no idea. But I think here we are still client side. I think we are still absolutely client side. Oh my god. It is complex. Build shipping. Look at the actually something like time stamping. And that's it. So this one seems to be only reading the data. What I don't understand though is why is not sending it server side. Maybe it is because some of those things are replicated. I don't know if some of these variables are... Some of these buffers, you know, are replicated, or how the hell is going to work? Because in the tick, we basically do only process data. Right? Empty, capture, turn. So who the hell is sending this to the server? That's the question. But you know, we can catch the encoder, right? I think if we catch the encoder, if we catch the opus encoder, then I think we can, because he's inside, he's here somewhere. Maybe I don't have it open now, but he was there 100%. He was there 100. Huh. Now to find it again, boys. To find it again. This is exactly why I'm keeping this, you know, this thing, so that I can always go back. Do I have an opus here? Yes, there it is. He's under runtime, online voice. He's inside runtime. It's not a plugin. It's inside runtime. Source runtime voice. Source runtime what? Source runtime online voice. Online voice. Voice codec opus. Okay, so here I think we can. There is the decode. But it doesn't seem to be the one that is doing the work, though. No? Create voice encoder. Create voice encoder object. Create void encoder object. New encoder. Initialize. Sample. Init. Encoder. Yeah, I want to understand where we reach this point. I think I have too many debug, and so now we cannot really know what is going on. Start networked voice. Yeah. I think we have a bit too many debugs now, and so we cannot really operate with this. Oh, I'm saying oh, but did he do this or no? Yeah, I think it did, huh? Let me see. Oh, yes, it is absolutely. It is absolutely. So somehow Opus encode. Exactly. Where is this? Where is this Opus encode? Is here. Is inside encode. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay. So I want to see exactly the stack trace, right? So I want to understand online voice implementation. Okay, it's in the thick of online voice implementation. Process local voice packet, okay, so the core is actually here. The core is actually here, so... So inside voice capture window, it is processing data, and then inside this guy, online voice stick, right, is a process local voice packet, process remote voice packet, queue local packet for sending, and submit queued packet to the audio. Ah, perfect. Perfect. So this is the real job. This is the real job, basically. This is what it's doing. The real work. This is doing the real work. Yes. This is doing the real work. Process voice remote packets. Okay, so... Okay, so let me see what it's doing. Talker needs processing will always be as bit to shifts, figure out where to append the data, buffer, copy sender info, process this user, convert, get microphone, result online success, local talker, mark the person as talking, update the length, voice loop back, get value on game thread. But is this stuff replicated or what? Or is the wall online voice replicated? It is what I don't get too much, but it is what I don't get too much. So yes, there is a function that is reading the incoming data and a function that is basically recording the local data, but I don't see where. I don't see where he's sending it. So I don't see where server side, right? He's probably here somewhere, but serialized remote packet. Serialized remote packet. Serialized remote packet. Serialize. Oh, hey, let me remove this 1 second. Serialize remote. No. Serialize remote packet. Let me see if I get it from the other guy. I'm connecting from the other machine. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Yes, it's coming here. It's coming here as soon as we receive stuff from the other guy. Huh? As soon as the other guy speaks. Blah. Yes, as soon as the other guy speaks, we get here. Okay, let me see. Receive bunch, receive raw packet, U connection. Yes, here we are in the networking code, net connection and networking code, and we are receiving a bunch of stuff. We have received a bunch, receive sequence bunch. How do we know that this is voice? How do we know? So we know already there is voice here, eh? We know already that this is voice. Not completely sure I understand how they split between voice and not voice, but because here they don't, seems to me that they don't know that is voice, while like 2 frames after they know that is voice because they say bunch of voice data, right? So it seems that somehow between here and here they understand that maybe it's based on the channel. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. This is not really something that we need to learn, but basically what happens is that we serialize this remote packet and we put it inside voice data, which then is used by the other guy continuously, you know, to reproduce it. Okay. Still, we don't know, right? We don't know who is sending it. So where is the brain, right, that decides to send it to all the players, which is a bit what I'm searching for, right? Because as I was saying at the beginning, I want to understand this piece in the middle, right? And where the engine decides server side to send it to multiple clients, not based on range. At the moment, our investigation, we are pretty much here. Well, we are here, but we are also here somehow, right? Because the process, like this process bunch now, is basically on the client number 2. I didn't catch the point where it's here in the middle, right? That actually I did not catch it yet. But I think it's this register, right? So this register, yeah, probably. I think it's that register. So I think that client 1 is registering the speaker client 2, and when that is registered, is basically starting to send data continuously, no matter what, right? Yeah, I think it's probably the way it works, and it's a very simple way, but it does not allow us to define in this register player, right? Register player. It'll be very interesting to know if it works in our game, right? Because the way I'm simulating it now, I'm simulating it with sessions, right? So the player is joining a session, right? While I think in our code I do it a bit differently because we have a dedicated server. And even if I think we do open, right? We do open, but I don't think we do create session and join session. So the question is, if we don't have a create session and join session, is this code then completely useless? Because it's going through some other kind of, you know, some other kind of code. That is a bit of a risky question, eh? That is a risky question because it may invalidate what I said up to now, or at least, I mean, it's valid, but it's not. Let me see. We have 2 new accounts to migrate. Okay, let me migrate 2 new accounts. Meanwhile, we have 405. Ah, no, they didn't authenticate. Okay, GG. No, they didn't authenticate. They didn't activate the account, so no. Until they activate it. Okay. Okay, so the so let's say the client receives the data through receive packet, basically. Wow, this function. Wow. Holy function. This is basically all the networking, right? This is basically all the networking of Unreal in one single function. There are a lot of steps. Then there is the uVoice channel receive bunch. And then there is online subsystem serialize. Let me see. Possibly replicate the data to the other clients. Is it here? Is it here? I think it's here. I think it's here, boys. Replicate voice. Very interesting. So I think it's this one, huh? I think it's this one because I think it's this one. Determines which other connection should receive the voice packet. Is in UNet driver. I'm trying to understand if there is an easy way to plug in a different logic in this voice packet replication, right? So if it's just taking the list of connections and that's it, but probably yes, huh? But probably yes. So you see that here what it's doing is iterating the connection and see if they want the packet, right? So it is iterating between all the connections. At the moment we see only one connection, and that one connection is probably the other player. I'm not completely sure. I think it would be nice to know. Is that a machine name somewhere or a socket? Socket type Unreal. Can I see the machine name? 10.0.0.7. I think it's the other machine. Let me check. CMD. IP config. Yes. That one is the other machine. This one is the other machine. So it's going through that. It's just checking that the connection is not the same, and obviously it should not be, I think. In this case it is though. So this packet came from the other machine? Yes, because I was speaking on that machine. Yeah. I was speaking on that machine. So this would be weird though. Because we only have one client connected though. This client connection is one. I don't know, maybe because we already disconnected. Yeah, that's possible. I don't know. Because this will be skipped now, because these two are identical, so this will be completely skipped, right? And we don't have any other connection, so we are skipping it. But in theory we should come here one day, right? So we should reach this point where the two connections are different. And so I am sending it now. Is this running on the client or is it running on the server? It should be running on the server, no? If server, then determine if it should replicate the voice packet to another sender in this connection. Replicate a server is peer connection should replicate voice packet from. Should replicate voice packet from. Okay, so there is one function. There is this one, which is actually doing the check. Right? And this guy... Yeah, for example, is checking if the guy is in the mute list, right? Because I think the mute list exists already. Exists already in Unreal, right? It exists already. So you can already have a mute list, which I don't know exactly how you create it or how you manage it, but there seems to be on player controller a list of players that you muted, right? And it is interesting. All remote players locally muted. Mm-hmm. How do you manage this muted list? I have no idea, but definitely we need to manage the muted list, right? I think it's just a property on the player controller. The parent wants to allow, but see if any child connection want to mute and blah blah blah. Let me just check one thing because I was waiting for an answer. Maybe someone answered me. No, it's not. No one answered me. Okay, fine. The parent wants to allow, but see if any child connection want to mute. Any child connection? What is a child connection? I have no idea what is a child connection. But I think this is our guy, eh? This is our guy. They should replicate voice packet from. So now this thing seems to be really embedded into the Unreal Net driver, so it's not exposed outside. I mean, it's not calling something outside, but you know what, we can modify it, we can do whatever we want with this thing. So no, because my point, my idea, is that this should replicate voice packet from, going back to our example, no, not this one, going back to our example, if I see that 1 and 2 are speaking and I am number 3, I don't want that packet because I'm out of range, right? So we can decide like an hard range, an hard range that is like 10 meters, and that stays at 10 meters, globally. So globally, we are never going to replicate voice to anyone that is more far away than 10 meters, right? So that could be the point, right? You need to do all this because Unreal Engine doesn't give info about it. Partially yes. I mean, it's also because I want to understand how it works, right? Because as you have seen, we have the example working already. So we can already send voice and attenuate voice, right? So in theory it's working already. What I'm trying to understand how it works, right? Because if we need to do changes somewhere, I don't know, changes here or changes here or changes here, I know how to do it. Or anyway, I want to understand how it works, right? I'm just, learning how it works. But in theory, it works already. So we tested it, right? And it works. At least it looks like it's working. Now, I don't know if it will work also outside sessions. That I have no idea. But yes, but this is very good. This is very good. This is very good. So let me save this. The only, the part that I'm a bit confused about. Let me also do another thing before I forget. I want to copy this graph for the microphone. I want to copy this graph for the microphone settings. And we can put it, I don't know where, but this point, I think we put it in our player controller. Where is my player controller? No idea. Yeah. We put in our player controller, huh? Yeah. So these values that are the microphone values, we can we choose a color that is not like killing my eyes? Yeah, better. Yeah, we can use this one to actually tweak the microphone threshold, right? Oh my god. What? It was player controller? No, it was get on in play. Ah, it's already a player control. Ah, okay. Then it's local. Then is player controller. Yeah, exactly. As a game master, you think you can have something like voice all over the world, like God kind of voice? No, I don't think so. They would just be chat, not voice. Hello, Simo FC. Did you decide against the Mumble? Yes, I think at the end we analyzed yesterday the what Unreal Engine is providing today and what Mumble is providing today. And if you, I don't know if you followed the stream of yesterday, but we had one of the Mumble developers as a guest, and we tried to understand where Mumble could be used. But basically, the realization is that Unreal Engine is already doing a lot, right? Unreal Engine is already capable of microphone input, is already capable of encoding opus in sending server side and then replicating client side, right? And decoding and then playing audio on the... So it's basically doing, the full... Unreal Engine is already doing this full stack, right? From here to there today. The problem is that is very little documented, and we don't really know if there are limitations. Like I see that there are some hard-coded maximum 16 players, maximum speaker 16 and things like that. So so we don't really... it's very little documented, right? And so we didn't really decide, right? We said, okay, let's continue the investigation, let's understand what Unreal Engine can do, let's try to extend it and see. And meanwhile, also Davide, which is the Mumble guy, will think about it. So we will think about it a bit. So we didn't really reach a full conclusion, but for sure the realization is that Unreal is already doing a lot of what Mumble is doing, at least from the pure mechanical sending and receiving. Now, Mumble is extremely more optimized, and he has a lot of, tricks and optimization to really make this work seamlessly. But the question is it worth, to do an integration just for the optimization piece? And how big is that work to integrate? And at the same time, what Davide was saying is that the library is still under work. So he's working on it personally, and he's kind of in a first release, and he wants to stabilize it a bit more before it's really used, right? So I think that my decision is, now that we have a working prototype with basic Unreal, because it works, right? It works with Unreal, standard Unreal. I want to understand better exactly what Unreal is doing, and so it was what I did tonight. So I went through basically all the functions that Unreal is using internally to actually do the job, right? And I think now I understand a bit better what it's doing. And also we found just a few minutes ago the part that I was very interested on, which is this one, which is who is determining, right? Who is determining that a certain connection, a certain packet, let's say, is going to certain connection, yes or no, right? And this one is inside this function. Is inside unet connection should replicate. So this is checking if my voice packet should be sent to a specific client, right? Should be replicated to a specific client. And in theory, you know, if we change that function, we could add the distance and avoid this scenario. That is the one that is default in Unreal, that is basically sending the voice to everyone in the game, and then each client is attenuating the result, and so his setting is a 0 volume, right? That I think is a very bad scenario for me, but I don't know, maybe searching the position is slower than sending the data. I don't think so personally, but I think that checking the position would be... So I would like to have like a hard limit, you know. The hard limit we decided is 50 meters, for example. And so what we can do in this should replicate, we can say we can check the position. The only you know what is the only problem? I think that this check is done per packet, right? Per packet. This is done per packet. And this is a bit scary, right? Because if I add into this loop, into this function, a loop that is checking all the players and their position, maybe I'm completely killing it, right? I'm completely killing the thing. So that is what I'm trying to understand, if there is a better way. Also, I think I will buy a voice chat plugin tomorrow. I'm just fixing something on the company credit card, because I would like to buy it with a credit card of Atomic Blue, but if not, I will buy it myself. It's the same, but I think it was better to just buy it. But I have an issue that the credit card is not activated and all of that. But I think I want to buy this one, which is not costing much, but it's not really for the cost, but let's say is a reasonable cost, and is basically demonstrating the capabilities. And so I think it will help me to understand better the system, right? And then we will probably have to redo it anyway. So because for our game we will probably have to do it like differently. For example, I would like to put this 50 meters range if possible, that just blocks the voice. Then I would like to have, you know, some settings for game masters and all of that. But actually there is a documentation link. Let me read it again. I think I checked it already. but I would like to read it again. Universal cross-platform voice chat, right? Holy moly. So closed platform multiplayer voice chat, global team radio and proximity, right? He's saying it is heavily network optimized with the usage of Opus encoding. Well, that is a bit fun that they say that, because Opus encoding is actually the default in Unreal. So I'm using, with my example, you know, I'm using already Opus encoding, but anyway. But this one is relevant, and server send network data only to the relevant client, right? Example, only client the same team or same voice chat. That is not good for us, because for me it would be in the same range. I mean, inside a specific range. It's intended to be used with Blueprint, but also compatible with C++. Can be used on dedicated server. Okay, here is saying proximity as well. Here it didn't say proximity. Ah, yes, it did. Okay, sorry. No, here it didn't say proximity. But it is saying proximity. Mute a player. Well, Unreal Engine is already doing it, right? So the problem is that Unreal is doing already a lot of the stuff, but is not really exposed. So I don't think that this guy really created really wrote a lot of code. I think he just did an investigation like I'm doing now, understanding what the engine can do, and then he nicely exposed it, you know, on the UI. So like the ability to mute a player, right? Set your microphone volume. For example, this one is very nice. Yeah, I think the only problem is Mac. You see that they don't have Mac anywhere in the list. They have iPhone, but they don't have Mac. So we will have to do some work maybe to have it functioning on Mac. But I spoke with a guy on Discord, and he's very active and helpful, and I think anyway it's a good purchase, right? Just to understand how it's made, you know. So installing the plugin, how the plugin works, server spawn an actor called place for access replicated with the client. Yeah, will be interesting if they explain place for action needs to be spawned on the server, needs to be owned by a player controller. Okay, fine. That is easy. Fine. Not relating attenuation asset in package game. In cooked build, your asset won't get cooked if you load them from the code. They need to be referenced through some property in the level. Yeah, I understand. If you use seamless travel, the game mode or blueprint, you only need to spawn a voice actor for each control with a seamless travel is done. Yeah, okay. So you see, they already consider seamless travel, which is nice, which is what we do. Initializing audio settings, speak voice chat. There is an example of a lobby. Okay. Okay, and this is the one that we want, right? Speaking global voice chat within inside proximity. Max proximity range. Exactly. That is exactly what we need. And what I don't understand how to do. So this guy did it already. And so I think that for 40 euro is more than more than worth it, right? So now my only problem is that I do my development on stream. So if I buy this plugin, you know, how much can I show of that plugin on stream, considering that is a plugin that is selling? So yeah, that I don't know. Maybe I can do some of this off stream. Then we will see. I will see. But anyway, probably we will have to redo a piece of that. Like, we don't need a radio channel, or we don't need stuff like that. But unless we want to enable like guild members to speak in a specific voice channel, but I don't know. What is the difference between C and D? Speaking global voice chat inside proximity. Speaking team voice chat with inside proximity. Ah. So you can also be inside. Interesting. So like you can have your buddy or your group that is a channel. So your group is a channel. And then the proximity works only between these guys, right? I think that's very nice. That is very nice. Complete API voice actor. Is that a function player actor you can use inside a plugin of Oblivion C++? Is to manipulate local player only. It should be called only on client programs. Okay. Is that a global function you can call anywhere? Okay. Yeah, but I think that, you know, they did quite some work on this, so the example project used 3D sound with a range of 1600. You can disable this list. This is in the example game. You can try a test project connecting to my master server, the link below. U4 project network settings. Is I recommend you set up your project to fit the network binding needs. Okay. Anyway, I think I will buy this and then I will start it and then I will probably rebuild it, you know, for our needs. Depending how complex it is to rebuild it or anyway to change it. There are 3 blueprints and 4 C++ classes. I really like the fact there is some C++ because some plugins are advertising like 100% blueprint as a benefit, but actually it's not a benefit because it's running slower. So yeah, so I think I will buy this tomorrow as soon as the card works. And yeah, now maybe just in the last 10-15 minutes that we have, what I would like to do, I would like to decide which functions, right, we want in our client. I mean, in terms of requirements, right? Which requirement we have? Let's assume that we can do everything we want, right? And which kind of requirements we want? So I think the first thing I want in the settings panel, I think in the settings panel, I want few things. I want enable, disable voice globally. Right? So this basically means that maybe we can keep it separate though. I think we can say voice recording and voice play, or how do we say? I mean, I think they should be enabled, disabled separately, right? So that, for example, you don't want to speak ever, you know, but you want to listen to others speaking, for example, right? So I think they should be kind of a voice, how do we call in and out, input and output? Voice, receiving voice, sending voice. Receive voice, send voice. Okay, so this should be like an enable disable thingy, right? So do you want to receive voice? Do you want to send voice, right? So if you enable, you can enable one or the other, right? I mean, it's a bit stupid to enable send and not enable receive, right? So probably I will say that if you enable send, you automatically enable receive, right? Because otherwise it's a bit stupid, right? So you are speaking and they don't, and you cannot listen to what they say. That is a kind of a weird setting, I would say. Yeah, so let's say that if you are sending, you are automatically receiving. But if you want, you can receive only, right? So basically what we are saying receive only or send and receive. So basically these are the two options that we have, right? We have receive only or we have send and receive. Yes, you can enable one or the other, right? These are mutually exclusive. Then I think I want to have something like this. Receive only players. And another one that is basically the same, but is receive so receive only players, and then I want to have receive only game masters, because they may be the case where you are not trusting other players, or anyway you don't want to be bothered by other players, but you want to be able to speak, well, to receive, I mean, for sure to receive. Now, to speak only game masters, I think is a bit weird, but yes, but I think it makes sense. So one or the other, right? So for example, you can flag players no, so no, off, right, and GM on, right? Or let's say the minimum setting is off, on, off, right? So that you can only listen to GMs, but you are not speaking. So let's say the minimum setting will be only receive from GMs, right? Then I think that GMs and players should see this setting somewhere for other players, right? So I think that it will be good, because otherwise, you know, you may start speaking to someone and you don't understand if it doesn't have the stuff enabled or whatever. So I think there should be an out of character panel where you are inspecting the other player as a player, not as a character, and he's telling you this player has, you know, receive only GMs, right? So that you cannot, so that you don't start speaking to him voice if he doesn't have it enabled anyway, right? So this is to avoid confusion, right? If someone starts to speak and the other doesn't have it enabled, and so I think they should be able to see it. You forgot cut music of the game. You mean when speaking that the music should go down? I don't know. Because, I mean, if we do that the music goes down when they speak, then we should do the music goes down also when there are sounds. I don't think so. Or yes, I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question. But for me, moving music up and down every time someone speaks at a certain distance with attenuation, I don't know. It seems to be a bit. It seems to be a bit too much. I would say no, Hula. It's a good idea, but I think it's a bit too much work, and also you will have then to work with different attenuation level. I don't think he's I don't think he's very reasonable. But it's a good point, huh? It's a good suggestion. Then I think I want to have, you know, I want to have a push to talk. By the way, this push to talk is not really explained in that document, huh? Is it push to talk, this thing, or is with threshold? I have no idea. Push to talk is not there. But anyway, I think that we can enable it. I think in general it should be push to talk now, because I mean, there can also be a microphone threshold for opening the microphone, but this will make it so much prone to errors and mistakes and, you know, in being annoying. So I think it should be push to talk by default. I mean, I think we should enforce push to talk. Maybe a bit annoying, I know, but I think it's the best solution, because otherwise, you know, one guy goes to lunch, you know, leaves the client open, and he has some noise in the room, and he's speaking to everyone continuously, like using our bandwidth for nothing. So I would say push to talk is the only option, right? Where you configure a key, you configure a key in the settings, right? Now, another thing that I would like to see, I would like to see the microphone level, right? I don't know if we can choose the microphone. That would be perfect. Sometimes people have multiple microphones on their PC, and maybe one is integrated with the webcam, the other is integrated in the case of the PC or on the laptop, and they don't know exactly which one they are using. So I don't know if there is a possibility to choose the microphone. That I have no idea. Maybe it's not that simple, but at least I would like to show, you know, I would like to show the selected microphone. And this is actually possible because when I now I have it closed, but when I start the game, Unreal Engine is telling me the device ID and the microphone name, right? So when I start this and I go play and I speak or something, in the log, if I search USB something, yes, exactly, you see, he's saying display device microphone 3 USB audio device, and it is exactly the name of my microphone. So he knows this one, microphone 3 USB audio device default device. So this is the one, right? So he knows that this is the microphone that we are using, and yeah, and it's very good, right? It's very good that we can at least display it, so that people say, ah, is that microphone, right? Ah, is using this, or maybe there is no microphone, right? So we should show if there is a microphone or if there is no microphone. Then can we choose the microphone is a bit of a subset of that. Then I think it would be very nice to show the microphone level, microphone volume level, right, or recording level, whatever. That would be very nice, because at least you see if it's moving, right? It's like in Discord or in any application, when you look at the microphone, you see that it's moving. You have a bar and you see that it's moving. At least you understand that it's working. I think that will help, because otherwise people will get frustrated, like, okay, you know, the game, I mean, I'm trying to speak but nothing works, and I don't know if I have a microphone, if it's working or not, right? So yes, only players, only GMs. GM should see it somewhere. Push to talk option. Show the selected microphone, show the volume. I think this, to me, are the minimum requirements. I don't know if there is anything else. Yes, and then to me there should be a max range, you know, kind of hard coded in the server or whatever. So a max range defined globally, so that, for example, we decide that, I don't know, the max range is 20 meters, you know, and is, you know, 20 meters for everyone, you know, so that I'm sure, you know, that I'm not in the bad case, you know, I'm not in the bad case of this player speaking and this guy that is on the other side of the universe that is receiving the data and then attenuating the data, right? So that to me is something that we need to exclude. So the max range should be defined globally. Can be a group option. Yeah, the group option I think is an idea, but I don't know if I want it. So in theory, there could be speak with your group, right? Or there could be a speak with your buddies, you know, the friends list, right? Or they can even be a speak with, you know, speak one-on-one with one person only, right? But this to me is a bit weird, because, I mean, if you want to do this and basically not using positional audio, because in this case I assume, right, that this is not using positional audio, so it is there is just 2D audio. So meaning you enter into a channel, and you speak with these guys, right? And you speak with your group wherever they are. If they are in the bronze doors and you are in Idla, you can still speak, right? But I think it is a bit of a waste of bandwidth for us, because I mean, if you really want to do that, you can open Discord, right? You can open Discord and speak with your group, right? So I think it's as simple as that. I think if you have something to speak in game, it should be in character, right? It should be in character and should be really in proximity, right? In proximity. I think it would be very nice to have a pitch changer, which I don't know how hard it is to do. But I would like to have a pitch changer, male, female, and I would like to have an effect for Cran, right? If possible, so that you can speak with a kind of a rocky voice, you know, like a strange voice that is basically a voice of a Cran, if you want, right? That I think would be very nice. But I think that these are like not easy, probably not easy to do, and may also come later on. But I think would be nice to have. Would be very nice to have. This one, this one about the no positional audio, to me is no, right? It's a good question, but to me, I mean, if you want to do this, just use Discord, right? This is all, right? This is all positional audio in game, right? So this to me is all positional audio with attenuation, right? Now I think it would be very nice. If you could be quiet, right? So let's say that you want to speak one-on-one with someone, and so you basically lower your voice. That would be very nice. I think GTA 5M is doing that. Which is, I think they have 3 voice modes, like normal, screaming, and quiet. I think the screaming, I don't want to have it. I want to have a normal, and I want to have a quiet mode, right? Basically, the difference of the quiet mode is that the normal is using the global range, right? And the quiet mode is like reducing the range by 2, right? Or something like that, right? So if, or even a quarter of the range, right? So if this is 20 meters, the quiet mode will go only to 10 meters, right? Or even 5, so that you are speaking to someone very close, right? In a group. I think it would be very nice. Before you leave, you are sure IUF5 has no more option for talking? I don't think so, but I mean, we will go to Unreal Engine 5 soon, but these plugins, you know, that we discuss are already working on Unreal Engine 5 as well. Like this plugin is working for Unreal Engine 5. So I don't think there is much more 5.5.1. But anyway, yes, we need to move to Unreal Engine as soon as possible. But before, I want to move from the old game, right? Because I don't want to have the old game, the new game, and another version, right? So I want to move. I want to move from the old game. I'm just doing this voice chat just because I was interested into it, but I don't know why it's always saying voice cat instead of voice chat. Just is not taking the So this one is already compatible with Unreal Engine 5 and 5.1, you say, so it's perfectly fine. Probably has been designed, it's been designed for 26 and 27 because it was born in 26 and 27. So I don't know if there is anything new really for 5. Also is used by this game, which is a very small game, but anyway, it is used. And so at least one real game, even if this game is very small, huh? Can I copy this? Even if this game is very, very small, I think, but at least it's a real game that used it. You see, this game is using it. So, I mean, it seems to be a very small game, but anyway, if they're using it, means that they, you know, they proven that it works. Right? So yep. I think tomorrow maybe if I unlock that thingy, I will probably buy it and start to study it. Maybe I will study it off stream because I don't want to, you know, reveal the secrets, whatever, of this guy that he created this plugin and he's selling it, right? I don't want to spoil it, but probably maybe I can do something off stream and understand how it works. But anyway, if you have other ideas, this is my basic idea for the voice chat requirements. If you have other ideas, let me know, and we can put it in the option panel. I think I will enable it as experimental already from the next client release, just to see what happens. Anyway, we don't have a lot of players, so I think it's fine. We can monitor the network bandwidth and see how it goes. Okay, I think that's all. I think we did a good investigation tonight. I mapped here. If you are interested in this particular page, I mean, obviously only if you are a developer, but if you are a developer and you are interested in this thing, is here. Our wiki is open to everyone and anyone, and so you can read whatever we post on the wiki at any time. And yes, if you want to click on follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, will be nice. Also, if you want to support us a bit more, you can go to patreon.com/planeshift. We are at the moment, how many? 52. We would like to reach 60 if possible. So if you want to join as a Patreon, it would be very nice. All the money that we get goes into buying assets or commissioning work, or you know, maintaining servers or websites or everything that we have to maintain, right? So that would be nice. If not, don't worry, we will make the game anyway. It will just be a bit slower, but it's fine. Okay. So I will see you tomorrow evening, probably, unless I want to do some off-stream stuff. I will tell you anyway. So, in theory, we can see each other tomorrow evening. Okay. So with that, I'm going. So have a good night. Have a good night. Bye bye.